Galen Eagles, how are we doing today? A little bit more energy, please. We have a very interesting discussion panel that we'll be holding or hosting today. So we will introduce by Ms. Tasha Alamandares, Ms. Janina Cho, Mr. Christian Loza, and Ms. Vonetta Gordon. Right? So we will start. Please give them a round of applause. So starting off first, I will be introducing Ms. Tasha. So Ms. Tasha is a seasoned business advisor with over 5 years of experience in the MSME development, entrepreneurship training, and strategic client engagement. She holds a master's degree in business administration and is currently pursuing a doctorate in business administration, further advancing her commitment to economic development and leadership excellence. Ms. Alamandares has completed specialized certifications through regional and international institutions such as the ILO, IDB, EDII, People's First, and BCCI, with focus areas including digital marketing, business leadership, and entrepreneurship. Based in the Belize district, she plays a pivotal role in Beltrade's national programs such as the Digital Connect and Business Incubator initiatives. Her efforts have directly supported dozens of businesses' expansions, guided entrepreneurs through investment readiness, and contributed to job creations and retention across multiple sectors. With a strong foundation in training facilitation, business formalization, and stakeholder collaboration, Ms. Alamandares is recognized for delivering impactful solutions that build resilience, impact solutions, innovation, and sustainable growth among Belizean enterprises. Her strategic mindset and passion for empowerment continue to shape local entrepreneurship landscape. Please give a round of applause to Ms. Tasha. Then we have Ms. Janina Cho. She's a trade economist. Ms. Janina Cho is supporting Belize's participation in CARICOM and regional markets. She focuses on trade policy, regional development, and expanding opportunities across the Caribbean. She was also part of the first CARICOM Young Professionals cohort promoting youth engagement. Please give her a round of applause. Next, we have Mr. Christian Loza. Mr. Christian Loza is an MBPA. JP is the General Manager of the Logistics BPO in Corozal, Belize, where he leads a growing team that supports logistics operations for US-based freight companies. Alongside his industry role, he serves as an adjunct lecturer at Galen University, teaching operations and supply chain management, and helping students connect classroom concepts with real-world business practices. Mr. Christian previously worked with the government of Belize as a rural community development officer supporting village councils and water board. A proud Galen alumnus, he currently serves as president of the Galen University Student Alumni Association, where he advocates for stronger connections between students, alumni, and industry. Give it a round of applause for Mr. Christian Loza. Thank you very much. And last but definitely not least, we have Ms. Vonetta Faye. She is a relationship officer at DFC. So Ms. Vonetta Faye Cordon is a relationship officer at the Development Finance Corporation, or rather most likely known as DFC, bringing over 19 years of dedicated service to the institution, including more than 16 years specialized experience with the credit department. Throughout her tenure, she has played a pivotal role in advancing DFC's mission by facilitating access to financing and supporting the growth and development of individuals and businesses across Belize. Beyond her professional commitments, Ms. Gordon is a devoted mother of one, and she serves on the board of directors of the Jubilee Ministries and is a core team member of the Global Leadership Summit, where she contributes to leadership, development, and community empower initiatives. Her passion for service combines with her professional expertise continues to make her an asset to both DFC and the wider Belizean community. Once more, give us a round of applause for Ms. Vonetta Gordon. So we all know this is a discussion panel, and we have some very interesting questions for each and every one of you. Of course, these questions are tailored to your guys's, your guys's expertise. So give me 1 second. All right. Here we go. So starting off for Miss Vonette from DFC, I have a question for you. We all know that DFC is a bank per se, a development financing to help entrepreneurships to have a head start, right? So my question to you is, how is access to capital and financing for entrepreneurs? Is it hard? Is it easy? What are the steps and processes? And what would you recommend for an entrepreneur starting out?
It's very easy actually. It's very easy actually. We have one of our loan products. We have business loans or small micro and enterprise business loan, and the other loan product is empowerment business loan for women and young men up to the age of 18 years, up to the age of 29 years old. So there's no we don't have any age limit for a woman. All right, for so and this is the only loan product where you don't need to use security. So from 2,500 to 5,000, you don't need anyone to co-sign for you. So from 5,000 or 1 to 40,000, you need two guarantors. 40,000 to 75,000, then that's where the land collateral comes in. All right? And we assist with 90% financing for the existing businesses and for new businesses as well. So, and the interest rate, it ranges from 7.5% to 9.5%. At DFC, we put you on a credit risk rating wherever you rate on that risk rating, that's the interest rate that we will give you. The loan fee, all loans carry a loan fee. All right, to process the legal documents of the loan, we assist with that financing as well. That can also be included in the loan. The grace period, we can give you up to 12-month grace period, 12 months before you actually start paying back your principal and interest towards the loan. And this loan, under this loan product, we give you 6 years to repay the loan. So there is financing at DFC. And we also assist with capital investment, working capital, revolving line of credit for farmers as well. We assist with that for special training. We also assist with that. Actually, we partner a lot with Beltrade. When clients approach us for a loan for businesses, we ask them to visit Beltrade. Beltrade normally guide them about how to prepare a business plan, how to work with cash flows. So we partner with Beltrade as well. So there is easy financing at DFC. See, when it comes to lending, it's up to you, the client, to prove to us that your business is viable. All right? It's not that we want to reject your business or your loan. You just have to prove it to us. And that's about it. So there is financing available at DFC.
Now, what would be some of your recommendations for entrepreneurships who are just starting out for the loans at DFC?
Well, you have to have a business plan, right? So the business plan, that's a roadmap for your business. So that will guide you throughout your business. You have to have a business plan. You have to know your financials. You have to know how to read a cash flow. So that's the start. And I would suggest that you do a background if you want to get into the food business, into clothing business. Visit some of these businesses and get advice from them to how to start your business. I'm hearing her clearly. If it's for me.
Yeah. So I want to start my business there, but then I'm not confused, but I don't really have the experience to know how to start up. Like I've been saving and even getting a loan and being able to pay it back. I know the business aspect of it, but how would y'all say moving around trying to build a business in a village aspect where it's not as fast as a city pace, or like just not running or rushing into it where you'll actually be successful?
Come to Galen and learn from us.
Well, I'm here.
No. As we teach our fundamentals in business at Galen, and one of the things that I always tell my students, which I see a few here, is that a lot of times businesses fail because people have an idea and then they simply jump and they launch. And one of the things that I've told anybody that I lecture is before you do a business plan, you have to test it, meaning you have to do some research. You have to go out and do a survey in your village and ask your fellow residents, how would you support this? Or tell me, how would you want this product? And then, because your customer has to tell you what they want. And that's how you go about building data in order to collect. And then you're able, and then of course, I know I see my colleague here to the left is getting her mic. You could always go to Bell Trade, like a shortcut. You go to Bell Trade, you sit with them, you tell them what you want. They'll guide you because that's what one of their fundamentals as well is to set up businesses as well. And then they will also help you put up your business plan. But as well, students that attend Galen can definitely be able to set up a business plan. So if you know a Galen Eagle, you can always shout out to one of them, and I'm sure they can help you, or even a lecturer as well. So those are the kinds of help that you can reach out at Galen, and I'm sure Bell Trade will have some more support for you all.
And just to add to that, what I always try to encourage MSMEs, particularly in micro, is to start within your group. We all have a social group. You all use different social media platforms. If you have an idea and you don't know if it's something that's going to last a year, 5 years from now, do a small survey within your community, within the different social media groups, and see what the results are. If you have a majority saying yes, then you should know that that is a business that will remain viable. But if the majority says no, then it's something that you need to reconsider.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your thoughtful insights. We appreciate the advice. I'm pretty sure you helped her out a lot and helped her reconsider. You have another question?
Hello. My name is Christian, and entrepreneurship too. I want to know about the competitive side of the business because I have this saying that I heard. The most competitive sport in the world is business. Unlike football and American football, which is half seasonal, business is 24/7.
So one of the things that what you have to do as a small entrepreneur or a small business owner is something called benchmarking. And so you can benchmark your business to a top provider, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna be able to scale to that size off the bat. But you can set your standards to be the same as a top provider, and then you work and scale your way towards that. So that's one way to healthy compete against it, because you're not going to be able to do it with finances. So the way you do it is with the quality of your product or your service.
Right. And to add to that, you always have to ensure that when you enter a market, there is a strong value proposition attached to your business. You always have to ensure that before you even launch, you want to ensure that you look at those of your competitors and see what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. Because typically when you start a business, the business is never for you. It's always for customers. So when you're doing that, you always have to be able to highlight their pain points and ensure that when you launch this business, all those pain points, all the complaints that they've been making, those should be your strength that you enter the market with.
All right. And for you, Miss, we obviously, like I said before, we have dedicated questions for each and one of you, specialize in your specialization. So, Miss Tasha, how would you discuss the business development and the MSME support here in Belize?
So with the MSME support, under Belchek, we have 4 units, and one of that unit is the Small Business Development Center. And at the SBDC unit, we offer 2 core services. One is capacity building, and that is in the form of trainings. So customer service, business plan development, pitching your business effectively, costing and pricing, value propositions, and so forth. And then the other one is tailored business advisory services. So we meet you where you are, whether you are at an idea stage or an execution planning stage, wherever you are, we meet you and we will typically walk with you through the entire journey of that business. And I'm glad to say that all the service that we offer is completely free. You don't pay for anything. One of the great ways to look at it is that you have a personal assistant that you don't pay for. And this person is your go-to person for all your business needs.
So let's say I start a business and I'm 1 year into the business, but I see that I'm not making any money. Then I can go to your support, and then how would you find a way to help me?
So if you've been operating for 1 year and you're not making any money, then we do need to revise your pricing strategy. Okay, where are you at? We do want to look at your profit and loss statement. We do want to see what is it your competitors are doing versus what you are doing. We do want to go back to market entry and see what the market is saying, because it could be that you have a product or a service that the market is not in demand for currently. So we do need to pivot. And if COVID have taught us anything, it's to be able to pivot. Because if you, and I do believe that 1 year of not making anything is a little bit too late to visit us, which is why we try to ensure that as you start a business and you need assistance, our doors are always open. So please feel free to stop by or give us a call.
Right. Thank you very much.
What if our business just start booming and then we reach a global level? Do you guys help with that as well, or do we have to reach out to extroverted?
So another unit of Beltrade is the export department. And we're thankful to the DGFT that goes out to bridge the gap between CARICOM and international level. Remember, with Belize, we are at less than 500,000 population. So after we launch and we met market demand for Belize, we maxed out our capacity. So we're grateful to DGFT to help us bridge that gap in having MSME scale internationally and regionally.
Just to add to that specifically, we know that in Belize, the domestic market, the population is about 400,000 people. But when it comes to, for example, through CARICOM, you get to access a wider market of over 15 million people. However, I think the key point right here to highlight is to do your market research before, and also remember that markets do change. However, successful entrepreneurs evolve with it as well. So it's very important to be adaptable and resilient when it comes to that. Also, when you're thinking about a global level or in the region, keep in mind that there are also product specifics that you need to meet. For example, certifications, labeling, and so forth. And that's where you also leverage the use of these export agencies, for example, the DGFT, whereby we expose you to what opportunities are there for when it comes to exporting a good. You have Belcher that can guide you in guidance of building the business and so forth. So just keep that in mind as well.
No, keep the mic. The next question is for
Sure,
you,
no
Miss.
problem.
Don't worry. So, Miss Janina, as you're a trade and economist, right? How would you discuss the global markets and economic partnerships? What are some of the weaknesses, some of the strengths? What would you recommend to do?
When it comes, can you repeat again?
So the question is, how would you discuss the global markets and economic partnerships? What would be some of the weaknesses, some of the strengths, and what would you recommend?
So Belize is actually a part of a lot of trade agreements, and our big one actually is CARICOM. That's one of our biggest exporting market. Although I believe as well that there is a lack of awareness when it comes to the advantages that Belize has through these trade agreements, and this is where we have to increase it. So young people, young entrepreneurs, or anyone knows what are the advantages and how to use these trade agreements as well. Also, at the DGFT, we're trying to improve trade facilitation for you to be able to export your goods. We are working on export guides for specific regions so the people out there are knowledgeable of it. For example, right now, we're in the process of finishing a CARICOM export guide. And like I said, CARICOM allows you to tap into a market of over 15 million people. And so what this export guide would do, and it's specifically targeted to MSMEs, young people, anyone that is new to the exporting journey, it would tell you specifically who do you go to first, how do you start researching your market, the contact information for these people, what are some of the certifications or requirements that you need for your specific product, because it's not just trying to jump into a market, but remember doing your market research. So Belize has a lot of opportunities. However, the weaknesses lie in the awareness that is not out there on how to navigate this whole exporting journey.
But wouldn't you say that because we're okay, let's say I'm starting out a company, right? And here it's very successful and I'm trying to start exporting. But wouldn't my lack of a reputation outside, would that not affect what the profits I will be making? Because let's say for example I'm making chocolate, right? And then all the other chocolate factories that already have a reputation, how would you guys try to help us with that?
Well, that's where you leverage the use of market intelligence through the DJFD as well as Belcher that will help you with that exposure, because I know Belcher has a lot of expos that they attend that allows you to go into those other countries and showcase your product. And at the end of the day, it's the quality and the standards that your product has. Remember, you have to meet certain certifications, and even simple things like your labeling and your package needs to meet a specific standard before you even tap into those regional or global markets.
All right, thank you very much. Now, for the last specialized question per se, Mr. Christian, you are a logistics BPO, right? So you know a lot about the private sector. So, how would you discuss some of the industry skills, the innovation, and career opportunities for the private sector?
So one of the things that we talked about, globalization. So we see that what's happening now is that there's a big, well, it's been happening for now, but it's very front and center in Belize now, the BPO sector. And what we're having now is that we're not just doing call centers anymore. We're doing what you call a back office work, which means that you're actually working as part of a team in the United States or in Canada or wherever that this setup is in Europe, and you're actually supporting the team there. And so you're part of a team, but you're working from a different office in a different country. So it's technically if you're working from home. And so what's happening is that they've realized that Belize has untapped talent, meaning we have highly educated skill force, and we just need to get them trained up to the task, because any task can be learned. And so one of the things at Logistics BPO is that we hire people with bachelor's degree, because what that means to us is that you have a high sense of critical thinking, and the tasks are going to be trained. You're going to learn it. What I'm also seeing in an innovative side is that we've been 3 years and we've been quickly moving from manual task based to now more automation. We're going to start using bots to help us do our work. We're going to be using AI, and so one of the things that I hear that out in the public, there's like a debate about education versus being skilled. And one of the things that I'm going to tell you is that if you have an education per se, if you have a Galen bachelor's, you're going to be able to pick up any tool out there and adapt it into your cadence. It's not going to be difficult for you to adapt it. So my stance on it is you should pursue education, but you should also pursue the tools that are out there. You have to know how to use AI. You have to know how to use the bots. I know that Galen is getting some serious. Dr. Barrow is working on robotics, and it's going to be very, very, very good once we start getting students trained. It'll make the workforce easier for us when you guys come to work. And one of the things that we have our logistics BPO has their booth. So we are doing like pre-screening. We want to know people that are currently working on their bachelor's or people who have their bachelor's. And we're going to pre-screen you. The HR manager is out there, Ms. Gilhari, and she's going to be conducting interviews, and we're going to be saving your information because, again, back to small businesses, we started with 10 people 3 years ago. We're at 20. Now we're ready for 20 more. At some point, we're going to be expanding those services. And so, again, we want to be able to tap into those talents that's available in the business.
And I just want to add to that as well. I believe that there should be a stronger alignment between education and global market realities. And I actually applaud Galen for providing this platform for the students, because this is where you get to hear what actually is happening out there. And also, I believe educational institutions can also help these young people by providing the platform to be able to learn of these emerging topics that are out there. For example, you have the e-commerce, which is becoming very big. You have digital services. You know that a lot of services right now are remotely as well. So this is where educational institutions need to kind of strengthen the global reality out there and the education. And actually, I can share that when I was a student here at Galen, one thing that I really enjoyed from a specific economics class was that every time we sat in that class, it wasn't just reading a textbook, but we would sit and we would talk about the news. We would talk about what's happening to the global market, to the economy, what the cane farmers are doing. And so that really helps you to think outside of the box and realize that, hey, it's not just what is being taught in this classroom, but there are also things happening out there. And this is where you guys should also, I encourage you to just read on what exactly are the emerging topics right now. Like I said, you have the e-commerce, digital trade. We know people want to work from home and thing lately, and so you can even export your services while you sit at home. So.
And we continue doing it at Galen. Let me change my hat, put another hat, the adjunct lecturer hat. My students that are here would know that I don't think they get tired of hearing about logistics, the industry and the business that I lead. But we mix the concepts of business with the real life practicalities, and so they get to hear how is it that the industry is progressing, where we're headed. I'm sure that they get a lot of insights from when I say, don't be afraid of AI automation. Learn how to use it, because what it is the industry is just trying to become efficient, and AI is going to be the way, and bots are going to be the way. But they still need humans, because only humans can critical think. You have to be able to guide the AI and the bot on what to do.
All right, thank you very much. I'm pretty sure some of us at least learned one thing they said. Another question.
1 2 1 2. All right. So I just wanted to ask, like, I know that here at Galen we have a mentors, like mentees, program. But I was wondering, have you guys ever thought of having like a adult like mentors program for us youth? Because like I never met you guys here, but it's nice to get you guys inside and things like that. And the most like mentor I have is what Mr. Gil Harry. Like I go run to him for literally everything, and I know he probably tired of it, but it's like I always wanted like adults, like people in the work field that I want to do, because I wear a lot of hats at a young age. So it's like, have the adults ever thought like, y'all ever heard about how like the doctors and the nurses, they have the shadow work, like the nurses behind them, like, you know, seeing them like working the field. It's like I want to do that with business. Like, have you guys ever thought about building some type of program for Belize, or like some type of mentor program for us in the future?
Those exist. Those
Really?
exist. You're probably just not familiar with it. And this is the reason why we're here to educate and empower you. So given that you share that you have an idea for your business in Carmelita, I believe, Village, you could reach out to us. You can become a client, and you will be a client till you decide to say, you know what, Mr. Almendares, I'm at a point where I'm completely satisfied and no longer need your services. But apart from Beltrade, there is also NIME, which is a women's group. You could join Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry. NIME is on campus today, so you could, when you go to the right hand side here under the tent, you could visit them and become a member with them. There is also Belize Business Boost. They are also having an event coming up end of the month, empowering women. So these networking groups are there. It's just, I guess we need to do more marketing in regards to it, but they are here and they're here to help you.
All right, thank you.
And just to add, to alleviate a little bit of Frodan's workload, I always get queries from students, especially like MBA colleagues that want to know about it. I have no problem in receiving. You can get my Galen email, and I have no problem in giving you feedback as well.
Right. Thank you very much, guys. That was very insightful. I'm pretty sure, like I said before, we at least learned something, and that's the whole point of this panel discussion. For us to learn, for us to build, for us to be better. Because again, we are the future of Belize. So the more entrepreneurs, the more educated people we have, the better our country will be. So now we go into the panel discussion where the questions are open for everybody, right? So the first question is, what are the biggest opportunities for young entrepreneurs in Belize today? I know we have the MSMEs, we have a bunch of other like small ways to come up for entrepreneurs to come up, but what is the biggest one that can, well, not guarantee, but help businesses grow in today?
There are quite a few, and if I could piggyback on what my friend here said regarding the virtual assistants, if you have limited capital, I do believe that we all have a laptop at home. So try to tap into something that is less inexpensive and assets that you already have. So the virtual assistants, There's also marketing that you could tap into. There's a lot of apps that you can use that will help you to develop these cool marketing engagements. If you have the capital, then you could tap into agro processing, you could tap into value added products, agriculture, and even the creative industry when it comes to artisanal products. Because what we've seen more and more is that consumers enjoy things that are unique. They enjoy things that are handmade. And more so, these are things that will be able to scale both locally and internationally as you go.
Any other responses, or is that okay?
It's a perfect response.
All right. So, question number 2: what are the biggest challenges business MBAs face when trying to grow?
I had mentioned earlier our population. Apart from finance itself, when you dominate a market, that's it. You have the same consumers. So trying to scale outside of Belize is one, apart from financing itself. And the most important one for me would be mindset. People believe that when you have a business, you should be making 100,000 by the end of 6 months. That is not always the reality. Sometimes you will break even up to 6 months, but when you reach that 1 month mark, some of them tend to give up. So you have to have that mindset and be resilient. And again, there are resources available to you at Beltrade. All we ask that you do, come in, sit with us, give us your time, and we're there to help you. So those would be my three: the finance, being able to scale, and not having the determination to push through.
And to add to that, the financial literacy gaps, weak records keeping, poor cash flow management, and limited growth potential that also contribute to our business.
But what do you mean by limited growth potential?
Limited growth potential. Okay, let's say the opportunity for the business to grow. They don't have access to, not having access to financing. That's a limited growth opportunity as well. The market is not there. So those are some examples.
All right, thank you very much.
I would also say not being knowledgeable of the export requirements or procedures when it comes to wanting to send beyond the domestic market, as well as the certifications, the regulations that different markets require for your product. Also, another big issue is the cost of logistics and shipping costs to get your products to another country, as well as the lack of awareness of the trade agreements in place. For example, I'm very big with CARICOM, and with CARICOM, you have reduced trade barriers whereby your goods can move around freely in the other member states. And so, like, not having this awareness of the opportunity that is really out there for you to be able to tap outside of the domestic market kind of hinders the progress of growing globally as well. And something that I also want to add is that from day one, when you do your market research and so forth, think of a product that can go beyond the borders as well. Don't just think domestically, because when you export, you also contribute to your country's economy as well. So,
Thank you very much. I really like the last response. So, for question number 3, how can educational institutions better prepare students to deal with businesses, or how can they better prepare their students for the business world?
So you might have heard me say that I don't want to go through my whole interview process here, but it's a little mini testimony that I can go quickly through. So when I went from the government sector, I was working on my master's degree, and when I went for my interview for the job, one of the value added to my resume was, hey, I'm working on my master's degree. I've ran $1 million in Corozal in water systems, but I am going to have my master's degree soon. And so the mentality is that this person has the fundamentals, and now he has to execute. And so one of the things that it makes employers want, or there's a high expectation when I've heard it when they hire, for example, a Galen Eagle, there's a high expectation from this person. He or she has to give back to the organization, has to show what they've learned in all different courses. This is when you get the opportunity to apply everything that you've learned. You may not use everything at the same time, but you're able to to bring it back. So like when we talk about building a business plan, any person that's been through the Galen bachelor's degree can do a business plan. It's that easy. And if you've done a master's degree, then you can even do further in terms of your analysis, in terms of tapping into. I mean, and you've heard from the colleagues up here, there is help as well. So if you have a draft, you can take a draft to them and say, hey, how am I doing? Where can I get help? But education I still believe firm that it has a fundamental that it gives you, and then you just go and apply it, running an actual business.
So would you say instructors contribute to the mentality of students? Because I know a lot of teachers, and as a student myself here, I know that what makes me take or makes me want to progress is the instructors I have behind me. Right? They're always pushing, they're always pushing, they're always pushing.
Absolutely. I've heard somebody say the other day, or just now, that one of the things they like about Galen specifically is that you have industry experts that are in the classroom with you, and so it's not just a textbook lecture or academic lecture, but you're actually getting both of best worlds. And I recall during my Galen journey, it was the same. I had people that worked at central bank. I had people that worked in the government, and it's just they transfer as the president said earlier. Education is from within, and they transfer some of that to you. You're getting it from your lectures at Gillen, and so that's what you're supposed to be taking from them when you move on to your other career or even your personal life.
Thank you very much. So, for the fourth questions, what skills will matter most for the future workforce? Like in general, we know we have perfect English speaking because we're an English speaking country, and for like the logistics, we obviously have to speak proper English. But apart from the basic skills required to work, what other skills will be a necessity for the future workforce?
I think I mentioned that before. Critical thinking is going to always be important, and then also get the tools in terms of you have to adapt. Just like the people back in the day had to adapt to typing in the computer from typewriters, we have to get with AI and we have to get with the robotics as well.
To add to that, there's also tech skills. Technology is not going anywhere, guys. And so you have to always be able to adapt. And again, I go back to COVID. If COVID taught us nothing, it taught us that we must be able to always be readily able to adapt and to pivot our business. So tech skills would definitely be one of them. Also project management and communication. You have to understand that when you're communicating, you always have to be able to meet your target audience where they are. So you want to be able to communicate in a language that they understand, that way they are able to receive the information that is out there. And in addition to that, again, it goes back to mindset. You have to be determined. You will fail before you succeed. And then when you succeed, you see a copycat coming behind you stealing your business idea, right? That's the only disadvantage to a successful business. You have copycats out there. But in order to be successful, you always have to continue that determination and that hard work and persevere through.
Just to add to that and not to repeat anything, I believe it would be a mix. You need technical, you need digital, and you also need global competencies. Yes, that. From a trade perspective, understanding what is happening regionally and globally, we know lately on the news we hear a lot about tariffs and what is happening to the exports. So having that global mindset and understanding what exactly that means. Another emerging one would be being able to operate borderlessly. Like I had said, emerging topics include the e-commerce, digital trade, exporting your services. So that would really put a pin on it, knowing that you can, operate beyond borderlessly.
Right. So for the final question that we've prepared today is, what advice would you give students who want to start their own business? Yes, you've said you need resilience. Yes, you need capital. Yes, you need the terms of technical skills, right? But what other advices would you give students who want to start a business?
If you have an idea for a business, I would definitely recommend you do your market research. That would steer you. So I go back to, you could even partner with university, because I've been receiving emails for us to answer surveys to help a potential business. So you could partner with the university to do your marketing, your research, You could also go to your social media friends. You have, I believe most people have WhatsApp. You could post your surveys on there, and based on the response given, that will let you know if this business will be viable or not. And then, secondly, reach out to Beltrade. We are here to assist you from just that idea to the actual execution of the business. And my last one would be, even though you may graduate, you are never done learning. You may be done with school, but I promise you, you are never done learning. And we offer a wide variety of business trainings that you could take advantage of. But if you don't want to go that route, then you could always go on YouTube. You could always pick up a book and read. There are resources available to you when it comes to executing your business and ensuring that your business is able to sustain itself.
Just a personal advice to the students, what I would do is, and I did this while I attended Galen as well. I used to own I still own, but I don't manage it anymore, a landscape company. And then I moved into real estate, which I'm no longer doing anymore. But I used to always use the different courses, and I would interject my business into the course and then work on something. I mean, I'm doing coursework, but at the same time, I'm doing my business work. And it helped a lot because I went from understanding why it is that I do certain things. And so if you're a student in your path, you can use the courses that you're learning. I mean, I'm sure your lecturers are going to appreciate you saying, this is my business that I'm going to use here. And they're probably going to give you some feedback as well. So use your academic journey as well to build your business, the capacity that you want to basically capture in order to use in practicality.
And one little thing, use the resources and platforms that are available. When it comes to trade, we have CARICOM and Belize is a part of other trade agreements as well. And you can actually use that as your stepping stone if you want to step outside of the domestic market. And just to add to that, I am from the Directorate General for Foreign Trade, and we're right outside beside Nime as well. So you can also visit us and learn more and get more details of how you can go about navigating these trade agreements and your access to other markets.
All right, and that was it for our panel discussion. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand and ask. Yes, miss.
We talked a lot about skills that the students or young people who want to start businesses, that they should have in order for the businesses to be successful. What about personal attributes, their character, their values, and so on? Is there any advice that you have to offer there?
You know what I've seen, Dr. Arid, in my time in recruitment when I didn't have an HR, somebody in HR helping me, and I was the sole person steering it. One of the things is that distinguished candidates is your attitude. Flexibility can be one, but we understand that certain people live by certain flexibilities. Like the work is from 8 to 5, and you won't get them after that. And I respect that. So I know who I can count on and who I can't count on. But the most important attribute that I would say is your attitude, the way you take things, the way you wanna collaborate, the way you can set your boundaries, but we do it respectfully, and we can get along. And also it would take you a long way when you don't take things negative. You have to look at the positive in everything. And we heard the chief say that earlier. Be positive, don't be negative, because once negativity starts in the workforce, it's like a plague, and it gets really, really, really horrible. And sometimes we have to cut out the cancer and then start from fresh again. So that's my advice: is take a positive attitude when you go to work.
But wouldn't that affect, because a lot of people wear, well, I like to say masks, right? So I can present myself to you one way, but then in reality, I'm another way. So how would that affect your choice in making a decision?
You could only put on that persona for so long. You have 1 month maximum before we start seeing your true colors. And there are institutions that incorporate different soft skills training and attitude and behavioral training within the organization to better off employees. So you could only pretend for so long.
Any other question?
I have a question. You guys have mentioned that as you succeed in your business, there will be always be copycats that have like your same idea. But what if that same copycat has your branding, your product, but it's under a whole different name, like on their name?
Well, I don't know if you guys recall the event that we had in Belize City at the Marian Jones. There was this gentleman that had a tent there. It was a Galen event, and he was trade. He was a global person that was promoting trade marketing, meaning that you register your product. He goes, I guess, to the United States. I believe that's where he settled, and he's going to register. Not only in Belize, we have it. You have to go to the Belize Business Registry, but you can also do it globally as well. So if you have this is more, this is for anything, but the truth is, like, if you're doing like something in technology, a product that you definitely want to trademark it, both locally and internationally.
Yeah. And this is also something that I actually recently learned a couple days back. When it comes to your product, I learned that there is also the importance of registering the ingredients that you use because they can also copy that. So it's very important that you register your ingredients. And this was actually from a small business owner here in Belize. And she was telling us that, she wants to get her certifications outside of Belize, like in the US, for example. But it's very important for her to be able to do the simplest of things, such as saying how much quantity she has of each ingredient in her product, because that would secure her as well from imitations and so forth.
And that's why don't typically include all the ingredients on the label for the same reason. And all that secret ingredient that you want to remain secret.
No wonder I can't do my Sharp good at my house.
So, the last question I had, I was just curious on you guys' experience as to the most efficient way of using your bachelor's degree after you get out, right? Because, like, for me, I've worked for myself for like the past 13 years, and like I got my associates, but I never really been needed. Like, I'm getting my bachelor's right now, but it's because I play volleyball good. So it's like, how would I use, like, I want to be able to use this in the most efficient way. I don't want to really run in too many circles if I'm gonna, use it. So I just want to hear you guys, like, prominent ways, some fails, like, what do you guys think was the most efficient thing to do with your degree?
Okay, I do believe that education should bridge the gap between theory and practice. So, having said that, what do you like? If you're starting a business, you always want to start off with what do you like? Your associates is in what field?
Business management.
You like business?
Yes, I have 2 businesses already.
So start off with what you like. You can never go wrong doing something that you enjoy.
So
And you use it to make money off it.
I've been doing hairstyling for like 13 years, and then I started a non-for-profit that provides underfunded athletic resources to underfunded communities. And so I'm like, okay, after my bachelor's, should I just, keep building other people's programs, being coaches for other people non-for-profits until I build myself all the way up, or should I get a loan and just take myself where I need to go? And like,
Do you have a vision board? Did you do a vision board January?
Nope.
You may want to start there.
All right.
Yeah.
But also one of the things that I want to share with you is that, so I've done the entrepreneur side, or small, I call it small business because it never really went above 100,000 in sales. So it's a small business. And I did the student, and now I'm managing a company for a foreign owner. And one of the things that with business management is you learn all. So even though you say you're not using it, you are. In strictly, you are using these skills that are being transferred to you by different lecturers. And like I said, if you want to make it fun, start using your coursework and include it in your business that you're running or that you want to do. And then you said, do I work for somebody? That's going to be something that you're going to decide. But it's always good to work for somebody, understand the principles of business, and then you move on to do your own business if that's something that you want to do. And remember, they talked about scaling. You're never going to be able to say, I want to start and make this X amount of money. You have to start small. And normally, from what I've seen, a business doesn't start really making money until around year 4 or 5. You're just breaking even from 1, 2, 3.
How do you purchase your products for your hair?
I seen that Panama had like cheap, supply. So I was gonna take a trip there, and then also, I was still having in question where I wanted to get sports supplies from, but I have dual citizenship, so sometimes I just go to, Chicago and get supplies.
So
But that's
you- Now, if you were able to list at least 3 classes that you took that led you to that idea and let you know, okay, well, Panama is quite inexpensive when it comes to products. Give me at least 3 of them.
international business, introduction to supply chain demand, and then the intro to business.
So you are actually applying what you learned throughout your associates and your bachelor's program. That's you indirectly applying it.
Well, you're right.
It may not come under that specific subject topic, but the information is there, and you just listed 3, and I'm sure you could list more.
Yeah. All right. All right.
And I'm sure she wants us to make a profit, and not you won't be charging $20 for a knotless braids. Exactly. So that's a part of the accounting process, right?
Yeah.
Costing and pricing. You're applying all those.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And that was the last question for today. Thank you very much for your attention, for your participation. We truly do love when you panelists come out here and give us various advices, various information, because like you said, it doesn't stop here. We will always want to learn. We always want to have more information. So thank you very much. We have some thank yous presents right here. So please give it up a round of applause for our panelists today.
Thank you, everyone.